Good morning, everyone. I'm Bailey Howard Leonard. I'm a board member with the Permian Basin Adult Literacy Center. And I want to thank you for joining our live author stream with Patty York Raymond. And a big thank you to Southwest 66 Credit Union for sponsoring our 2021 live streams. Hi, Patty. How are you?
Hi, good morning. I'm doing very well. Thank you.
How's the weather?
It's nice and
Yeah,
hot.
it's nice and rainy here. So,
Oh, okay.
can you introduce yourself and tell our viewers a little bit about your history?
Sure. As you mentioned, I'm Patty York Raymond. I'm a children's book author. My background is in education and social work. I live in South Texas, and I did a career. I had a career change once I went into education and social work. I decided to start writing children's books. So that's where I'm at this point. I do also have, a case management business, and I do education consulting on the side as well. So pretty
That
busy.
sounds so busy. That sounds very busy. So, as you know, adult literacy is our primary focus. Why is adult literacy important to you?
Because it's a family affair. Literacy is a family affair. You cannot um, piece out literacy, adult literacy, and children's literacy. It's all related to one another. And as we know, adult literacy does affect children's literacy. If a parent can read to a child, the child can learn vocabulary, can learn sentence structure, and so on. So it's very important that we address both parents and children in the literacy issue.
Absolutely. I
Hmm.
want to talk, you mentioned education, and I want to talk kind of the overarching theme of education. Can you tell us a little bit about your work as an advocate and an education consultant?
Well, as an advocate, I am a case manager with my program, Abrazo Case Management Services. So I work very closely with families who are needing assistance in getting the educational services that children need. So I'm an advocate in that sense. I go to art meetings with parents, and I try to work with the system and acquire the services that a child may be needing in order to be successful in the classroom and in general. So that's what I do as an education consultant. I work with new teachers. With the PACE program here at Region 1. So I do go into the classrooms and I facilitate their learning, give them feedback and how they can improve their teaching so that children learn, you know. So that's how I infuse the experience that I have. I work with adults and I work with children.
I love that. New teachers need all the help they can get because we need
Yes,
more new teachers all the time.
yes,
Um, there's something that I noticed specifically that you helped facilitate a dropout prevention program.
yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. That was with Laredo ISD. And it was the pregnancy education and parenting program. So we had three child care centers within the district, provided counseling, parent education for the teen parents, so they could advance, be able to take care of their kids, and be able to graduate. So, yes, it was very successful. I'm so proud of that.
It sounds very, very rewarding.
Yes.
Um, do you think that your work with children and literacy, and we talked about literacy being a family affair,
Mhm.
what kind of impact, what kind of ripple effect do you think there is on working with children on literacy and their
Mhm.
parents?
Well, a huge ripple effect in working with both, you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, they both impact. So the parent learns they can read to their kids learn they can, read aloud to their parents. So it goes hand in hand.
It is a family
Hmm.
affair.
Yes.
When did you start writing? What inspired you?
Well, I wrote when I was teaching. Sometimes I could not find the exact book I wanted to teach concepts to the kiddos. So I would just write my own little story and read it to the kids. And I never thought much of it. I'd move on and, I didn't even save any of the stories. But it wasn't until I retired from Region 1 that I decided, you know what, I want to write. I want to write for kids. I know their interests. I know what they want to hear, and of course infuse some of those concepts that they need to learn early on. So that's when I decided in 2013, as a matter of fact. I started to write, and my first book was published in 2015, and the rest is history.
I love that. I love that you created your own solution. I think that is just fantastic. So,
Thank
can
you.
you tell our viewers a little bit about your most recent book?
My most recent book is entitled Aspire, Aspirar, and it's a flip over book, English and Spanish. And I wanted to write about a mother and daughter who have weekend adventures, and during those adventures and the activities that the little girl is involved in, I wanted to kind of help her realize what type of careers are possible for her. So with every activity, I was thinking, what kind of a career or occupation could she be going into, or what's possible with the experiences that she's getting from the activities mom is exposing her to. So that's how Aspirar began, and so I'm really proud of it. I think it's something girls will really gravitate to, and open their minds to what's possible.
I love a good girl power. I love a
Yeah.
good girl inspiration.
Yes,
Would you read for us?
of course. Well, I'd love to. Aspire, Aspirar. And this was illustrated by Chiara Savarisi and translated by Dr. Isaias C. Rodriguez. And I'll begin. My mom and I make special weekend plans for just us girls when the boys are out of town. Finish your chores first, my mom says to me as I frown. Come on, jelly bean. I tidy up my room so it's nice and neat. I bake a cake, 'cause it's really sweet. I scrub the dishes sparkling clean. I water the grass so it's nice and green. I fold the laundry till it's wrinkle free. I bathe my dog to get rid of fleas. You're brilliant, says my mom. Sometimes I spend the weekend finishing schoolwork, like when my science fair project was due. Oops, I think I might need a bit of glue. You're ambitious, says my mom. We then pamper ourselves for all our hard work done without any complaint. I like to do my part. Believe me, this is not for the faint of heart. You're generous, says my mom. We sometimes enjoy a weekend long movie marathon. We weep in sorrow. We laugh in amusement. And we tremble in fear. And stay up until the crack of dawn. You're empathetic, says my mom. My mom likes to plan field trips around town for just us girls. We go to the zoo where I make friends with an adorable baby giraffe. You, look what I've got for you. You're kind hearted, says my mom. At the Museum of Natural Science, I pose with a menacing king of the dinosaurs. I'm as scary as a Tyrannosaurus Rex, so hear me roar. You're fierce, says my mom. Oh, take a look at some of the insects from the Butterfly Center. They greet us as we enter. I get a close up view of a stunning red peacock butterfly and hold a mighty atlas beetle with huge, stiff horns, a really tough guy, and wrestle with a clingy praying mantis with a triangle shaped head and large, all knowing eyes, and shoulder A quirky, giant, long-legged katydid with a lengthy antenna and leaf-like wings, who rarely jumps or flies. You're inquisitive, says my mom. We visit the planetarium where we see the Milky Way and have fun locating planets, the moon, and the constellations. I can easily find the Big Dipper. Look, Mom, I whisper. You're pioneering, says my mom. We climb into a flight simulator at the Space Center to pretend travel to Mars. I swear, I can almost touch the stars. You're daring, says my mom. On occasion, we tour the museum to view galleries of wondrous works of art. I especially like the paintings that depict influential women who are strong and smart. You're creative, says my mom. Every now and then, we have a need for speed. We go ice skating at the Galleria Mall where I delicately plow through the crowd. Yikes, I say to one and all. You're strong, says my mom. My mom has some really great ideas for just us girls. To my grandmother's house for game night we go. Bingo! You're outspoken, says my mom. And then we go to my other grandmother's house and swim in the pool. Hooray, yay, yippee, yahoo! You're valiant, says my mom. My mom tells me it's vital to march for important causes, for awareness, equality, and social justice. I will, I promise. You're honorable, says my mom. Surprisingly, sometimes our girls' weekend ends up being more of a family outing instead, and that's okay with us. Jessica, you're remarkable. Aspire to be true, says my mom. Okay, Mom, I aspire to be just like you. Yay. So that concludes the book. I did want to show you that the book does have a glossary of careers or las carreras, and it just gives you or sample views of some of the careers that the little girl might be interested in doing based on the activities that she was involved in. And the further you go in the book, you'll notice that they are upside down, and that's because that's the Spanish portion of the book. So yes, yes. So there you go. There's my book, Aspire Aspirar, and I'm so happy, and I feel very fortunate to have been successful with it, and that everyone's liking it.
Patty, I loved it. I got chills. I don't, you probably can't see. So I'm really close with my mom and I
Oh,
am very inspired by my mom. She is strong, she's courageous. And I just kept thinking as you went through it, the words like brilliant, ambitious,
uh,
generous, the things that really we need to inspire little girls to do.
exactly.
They
It
can
brings
be
tears
more
to
than just cute or pretty.
Yes, yes, and it still brings tears to my eyes. And I did want to share with you in the Museum of Fine Arts some of the pictures, some of the portraits are family portraits. So my grandmother, which is my daughter's great grandmother, from one side of the family to the other side of the family. So I've got a few of those, and then of course I got permission for the other ones from the Smithsonian Institute to use them in the book. But I did want to include family photos because I like writing about family, and I like celebrating family with my families, the
I
children that
love
I
that.
read to.
I love that. I think it's such a good lesson for little girls
Hmm.
that you can aspire to be more. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you so much.
I do want to brag on you a little bit and
Hmm.
mention that It's Too Windy, another one of
Hmm.
your books, won an
Yes,
International Latino Book Award in 2016 and 2017.
it
And
did.
ABC's To Ranching won 2018's Best Interactive Children's Picture Book and 2 International Latin Book Awards in 2018.
Yes, 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 yes.
Congratulations. Can
Thank
you
you.
take some time to tell us about both of those?
Yes, I would love to. It's too windy. Again, it's about family. It's about a brother and sister who go visit their grandparents and play with their cousins. The problem in the story is that grandma doesn't let them get into the pool. So the kids have to try to figure out why grandma's not letting them get in. So I wanted the kids to infer and have fun trying to figure out why isn't grandma getting letting them get into the pool. And in 2020, I might add, I got it translated. Hay mucho viento, and so I'm really excited that I'm expanding the audience. And so the next book is the ABCs to Ranching, and it's about a little boy who goes to the ranch to help his dad with the ranch chores and ends up getting into a whole lot of trouble. It has some Spanish words throughout sporadically. Um, it's not your typical ABC book. It's a story from beginning to end. So it's not about, it doesn't say a arrowhead. It's a story. So that's what the challenge was for me, to make it a continuous story in which the kids would learn about the tools of the trade, animals at the ranch, and so on. So yeah,
That's
I'm
awesome.
excited about that too.
Have you worked with the same illustrator for all 3 of these books?
No, separate, all different illustrators. And the way that goes is that the publisher, Mascot Publishing, um, they send me portfolios, and then I go through them, and then I choose the illustrator. And if they're available, then they work as a middle person, middleman, to get the information of what I want on a spread, and then they will in turn illustrate that and then provide it to me to see if that's what my vision was. So that's how you know that
And
worked.
a lot of people work with the same illustrator. I love that you've worked with different
Hmm.
illustrators
Hmm.
because it gives different artists a chance to bring your vision to
Yes,
life. So
yes,
that's just, pushing even more people out there with their aspirations to be
yes,
creative.
yes. And it just it's nice to see the different viewpoints of the illustrators, and what they can come up with my ideas. And so I've been very thrilled and happy with their work.
What advice, let's shift gears back to the writing. What
Hmm.
advice would you give to somebody wanting to write their first book, be it a children's book or a fiction novel?
Uh, my advice would be just to start writing. And that seems pretty simple in itself, right? But start writing for yourself. It's another mode of expression. If it goes somewhere after you're done, fantastic. But it's just a means of putting your thoughts, um, what you're interested in writing about, or if you're going to be researching a topic. It's a project like anything else, and I like to see projects, begin and end, and so I began writing without the thought of actually publishing, and after I completed the first 2 books, I thought, let me see what's out there. Let me see if they can be published. And so I was very pleased that I was able to do that. But again, to a beginning writer, a novice writer, I would just say just start writing, and see where it leads you.
So, do you think? So, you mentioned that you had originally started this because you were looking for resources and you couldn't
Hmm.
find them. So, why not solve the problem yourself? Very aspirational. Um, so you said you didn't save any of those. Do you remember any of those stories?
I do. I remember one of them having to do with routines. It's still in the back of my mind because I'm very sequential. And so that was the first one that I thought of. And I haven't written it to its completion, right? But it had to do with routines, helping the kids in the classroom understand what routines are all about, as well as parents. And so I want to maybe go back and work on that. But I have drawn from that, and written it's too windy and so on and so forth. But the actual idea of writing a book about routines is still there. I haven't written the completely.
I love that. I'm obsessed with the routine. I've got checklists
Yes.
and color-coded notes.
Ah,
So I would
yes.
love to give that book to my niece and my nephew to try to impart some kind of wisdom on them. Um, I love reading. I read pretty much every single day. What are you currently reading?
I love thrillers, and it's really suspense, mysteries. I don't particularly care for the movie format because it just scares me, but I can read them and I'm okay. Um, I'm reading and I'm reading at the moment Jason Casper. So he's got a few books out, and so I'm channeling all my interest in that. But yeah, mysteries, thrillers, suspense novels. That's basically what I like to read when I'm not reading children's books, because I do like to see what's out there. I have a chapter book that I'm working on and considering moving forward a lot quicker than I have been. So I'm wanting to see what's out there, and hopefully satisfy a niche
Yeah,
in the
chapter
book.
books are
Yeah.
how
Mhm.
I got to where I'm reading. My school, I'm going to date myself, used to do something called accelerated reader. And I would just swallow books.
Mhm.
Um,
Yes.
if you like thrillers, I just finished a novel called I'm Pilgrim. It's kind of a
Ah,
spy thriller,
okay. Yes.
really interesting. So the
Okay.
chapter book, do you have any other projects coming up?
I do. I'm writing a children's book. Actually, I'm done. I'm going to be presenting it to the publisher. It's entitled "There Was a Tenacious Teacher Who Swallowed a Sticker." And so that's going to be giving teachers an opportunity to shine and to show how all that they do to prepare for their kids to come into the classroom. So I'm excited about that one, and that one should also be in Spanish as well. So I'm excited about that.
I love how uplifting you are, uplift the teachers, uplift the kids. Um,
Thank
I,
you.
I'm very inspired, and I think that that's
Thank you
wonderful.
so much.
How can people get your books? How can people find you?
Well, I do have a website, pattyraymondbooks.com. And that's the only place where, by the way, you can find other products like loteria sets, playing cards, stuffed animals. So that's pattyraymond.com. But you can find the hard copies. You can also find the soft covers on my website. But the hard cover books, you can find them anywhere. If Barnes and Noble doesn't have them available, they'll just look it up and order it for you. There's Books a Million, Amazon, a few independent bookstores that I reach out to because we want to support independent bookstores. And
Absolutely.
yes, yes. So yeah.
As a note for anybody shopping on Amazon, because it is convenient, it's not an independent bookstore. If you shop on Amazon Smile, the Permian Basin Adult Literacy Center is an option for your
Perfect.
Permian Smile
Perfect.
or your Amazon Smile donation. So,
Uh-huh. Excellent.
just it's quick and convenient.
FYI. Yes.
Um, Patty, thank you so much. Can you actually, I'm interested in these cards that you showed. Can you tell us a little bit about those cards?
They're loteria sets. They are actually, let me see the best way to explain it. They're the pictures. You can't see it right there, or can you?
I can
They're
kind of see it. I think the green screen
the
background,
green, the
but
green
yeah,
screen. Okay. But they're the pictures that children will find in the books. Okay. So the careers, animals, like in the ABCs to ranching, that sort of thing. Um, so that instead of bingo where you have numbers, it's their
right.
pictures, and the pictures are in English and Spanish, so it helps with vocabulary, which was my intent. So I've got that for the ABCs to ranching, and I have that for Aspire Aspirar. I have playing cards for the ABCs to ranching, which is kind of like Go Fish, only it's giddy up. And so the kids can play that and again, learn the vocabulary and so on and so forth. So I'm always looking for ways to get uh, for the kids to be interactive. Another thing that I failed to mention is that all my books have original songs that we produced in a studio, and they can be downloaded on any music from any music platform. Aspire, oh, it's called Aspire. It's sung by Julissa Figueroa. Beautifully sung. The ABCs to Ranching is a country western song by Nathan Mathis. And It's Too Windy. It's That's What My Grandma Said, and it's sung by Eddie Cavazos. And you'll enjoy them. Just download them. And what I like to do when I go to presentations at schools is I read the book, we sing and dance, and I always take artifacts like ranching artifacts or whatever. But now teachers have loteria sets that they can use and place in a center where the kids can learn the vocabulary or reinforce the vocabulary that they learned from reading the book and sequencing it and so on and so forth. So I'm always looking for ways to help kids learn, and so that's one of the purposes of writing children's books. I want them to enjoy them, I want them to feel inspired, and I want them to learn.
I love that. And you're hitting all the notes. Music hits a different level
Yes.
of memory and
Mm,
picture and touch.
yes.
Vocabulary is so important to
Yeah.
learn, especially if you're trying to
Hmm.
be bilingual as a
Yes.
child when their brains are more
Oh,
flexible
definitely.
and
Yeah.
spongy.
Yes, most definitely.
I love that. I want to thank Patty York Raymond for joining us today and reading
Thank you.
Aspire. Please check out her website and get the books, get the
Hmm.
exclusive sets from her website. We'll have the links available for you. And I want to thank Southwest 66 Credit Union again for making all of this possible and remind you about the Permian Basin Adult Literacy Center's readathon happening now through September
Mm.
30th. And we would love for you to consider sponsoring a student. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this. And if anyone has a question for me, you can always shoot out an email at pattyraymondbooks@gmail.com. If you're interested in school visits, I'm there. So feel free to contact me. And I so enjoyed this. Thank you so much, Bailey.
Thanks so much, Patty. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. You take care.